Alright guys, welcome back to VALORANT News. A massively important day in the Americas. VCT with Sentinels playing their big series tonight to determine whether they still have a chance to make playoffs in the Americas side going forwards. But also FNATIC, they just about get very lucky and get over the line to qualify for the playoffs in the European side. Not a particularly pretty turn of events, however. Tarik was not happy with their and their region's performance. What is going on with that team? Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. First of all, we saw yesterday, right, the new Mistbloom skins opening the door to effectively wall hacks. Sentinels were obviously making a joke about this and saying, oh my god, no way, the Sentinels Classic also allows you to see enemies through walls. Maybe it's about time you buy the damn bundle type thing, but that has now been fixed. So I'm guessing there was some sort of, collision detection on those features that was being turned off, which was allowing people to see through walls with the Mistbloom kind of bundle effectively. Fixes have now been deployed, all skin levels are back on, so you may resume your regularly scheduled fragging with style, because I think in order to fix it, the camo then disappeared, and now they've kind of resolved that. So seems like the hotfix has now resolved the situation. Team Secret, we're going to get into these guys in a second, but they've just hired a new assistant coach in Dummy, a player that I'm not so familiar with. I believe he was like even a Team Fortress 2 player and then an Overwatch League player way back in the early days. Phenomenal gamer tag, I gotta say as well. But he joins Team Secret, trying to level up their situation. But yeah, not necessarily worked out for those guys. Edward Gaming, by the way, they continue to kind of, march on. This was a pretty crazy play, I've got to say here, from Kang. I mean, first of all, look how quickly he dodges this flashbang. Like, the flash comes through the wall here, and he turns away, and then turns back absolutely instantly, gets one, dodges the Raze ult with the own satchel, gets two, gets three. This is just what he does, I suppose. And yeah, in the Chinese side, they then move to 4-in-1. So this is how it's looking over there. Still a little bit confused by the various timings of the regions, because as we see in the Americas, there are still quite a few games to go here in China, whereas in the Pacific, it's all done, and it's so done that we're already through to the playoffs. So these are the mid-season playoffs in the Pacific side, and, well, we talked about the format yesterday and why it is, questionable, to say the least, as far as I'm concerned. An artist is certainly going to make that thought known over the coming minutes. But the playoffs are underway in the Pacific, and actually, if I hit the refresh here, we shall see the first series is already done. So this is a knockout round, of course. The loser goes home, and Team Secrets, they are out of there again. And honestly, Secret, man, these guys, I don't understand what it is when it comes to the matches that actually matter, but it just never works out for them, right? Like, they looked great, I mean, at least in part over the last couple of weeks in some of the matches. They turn up to the playoffs for one series that they've got to win, the knockout rounds. And look, I don't think this format is good, but they had to win this one series. They didn't win this one series. T1 get the victory. They move on at 13-7, I think 13-11 on their pick on the Sunset. They had a great start as well. I mean, look at this. They went up, 8-1 at this point, Team Secrets. They close out the half 9-3. I mean, how bad can it be? But the 9-3 curse comes through. They lose all their defensive rounds. They can't win an offense to save their life. And GG, Secrets, bowing out of the tournament immediately. So, yeah, what a turn of events. T1 will go on to play Gen.G in the upper semi-finals. Paper X are playing Talent Esports right about now, which is just getting underway as I'm recording the video. The winner of that, which presumably will be Paper X, but we shall see, would play DRX in the next round, and we would have a Gen.G T1 DRX Paper X situation, of which 3 of those 4 will make it through to Masters Shanghai. So, given the fact that of those 4 teams, 3 will make it. It's like, this is why the format is, to me, a little bit strange. The winner here of the Grand Finals does get 3 points towards their World Championship qualification, which is, fine, but there's only one of those 4 teams that gets knocked out, right? And that will happen in lower round 1. So, in terms of relative importance of matches, the ones on the first day are probably more important than the upper final, or potentially even the grand final will end up being in this tournament. Now, let's talk EMEA, because this was not pretty for FNATIC, and I wasn't really sure where this series would go. FNATIC have been looking okay, they've been looking pretty mediocre, they've been looking, mid compared to a standard EMEA team, let alone where FNATIC think they should be, and where they were last year, and where they should be this year, Boaster was saying, well, we won 2 international events last year, not 3. This year, we're going to go for 3. What did he mean? Did he mean go for 3 rounds on binds? Because that's what they achieved yesterday. So it wasn't pretty. I mean, I don't even know what to say about this particular scoreboard. We did have yesterday, by the way, Mini in the venue, because there's been lots of talk about the coaching staff over at FNATIC. Is it a coaching problem? Maybe it is a coaching problem in part. Of course, Elmer Putty comes in. Mini, people are saying, oh, I got to bring him back. But he doesn't want to come back full time. That's the reason why he stepped down to being the assistant coach effectively. He was there with the guys yesterday, and even that didn't exactly help their performance, right? So, you know, Boaster had a nice little clutch here in the 1 versus 1 to take them to 10-6 down on the Ascent. They lost this map anyway. They did win game 1, FNATIC, pretty comfortably on the breeze that Na'Vi tried. But after that, it was an Angel masterclass.
Someone's got to go, bro. He's the last one standing.
Shao and Sugetsu don't intend to fight. That's Angel's job.
Lineup
if we get that far.
Oh my god.
You got Shao's Brim Molly.
No joke, I alt-tab 4 and see my game crash.
So quickly. He has to go steaming forward, and Angel's caught him, boxed him in, and GG.
Nah, I woke up early for this, actually. Bro, this is fun. My time was robbed today.
Yeah, imagine Na'Vi didn't do Ash's solo controller on Breeze. It could have been a 2-0.
Yeah, this is pathetic, bro. This region needs fucking help.
Yeah, that's GG.
Na'Vi were just that little bit better. We'll praise artists all day long, but Angel on this last map, his Cypher was looking nasty.
Well, at the beginning of last week, we thought that playoffs was a done deal.
I mean, I jinxed them, bro.
They have to give their fans a little bit of a heart attack, but the fact is, it was back to business this week. Playoffs secured for Na'Vi.
Fuck you guys laughing on this side of the stage. Keep that shit to yourself, bro.
In others' hands, it's not a place that you expect.
Is it still possible to qualify for Shanghai? Very low chance. Very, very low chance. But it is possible. It is possible, but it is a very low chance. Jake? 2-0 and 13-0.
Oh my god.
We need to 2-0 and 13-0, and then Loud and NRG have to get decimated. So, winnable, basically. Winnable, basically.
So it's very confusing to see the downfall of this FNATIC team in many ways. Like, from what they were doing last season, just so difficult to stop. It's such a different team that we're watching now, and they may still make it to the playoffs or to Masters Shanghai. Maybe they would still be expected to, but it's far from clear, and this loss actually put them in serious jeopardy of not making it to the playoffs. Maybe they didn't even deserve to, but I think on the balance they probably just about did. But as Boaster says, you know, I couldn't aim straight, my head was the size of Jupiter, my mouse felt like it was weighing 10 tons. But we showed glimmers of sexiness. I mean, he's been talking about this for some time, right? Well, you know, we've just got to play well in the playoffs. We've just got to play well when we get to the big events. But right now they ain't playing well effectively at all. And it does seem like there is some frustration creeping in for these guys, because as Doga says, yeah, 1-2 against Na'Vi, good game, they played well. Not the typical situation that Durka and FNATIC have found themselves in over the last couple of years. We'll see the numbers in a second. Artist does, though, make it very clear that, you know, look, they won, so well done. But he reckons this format is hands down the worst one yet. It's actually quite impressive, isn't it? That every year, Riot come up with a new format that gets complained about. And then the year after, they try and fix some of the problems, and then everyone says it's worse. And maybe it's not worse, but maybe it is worse, right? There are serious problems here, I think, with the way that it's been done this year from multiple angles that we've discussed over the last few days, even the timing of updates and what that means for, you know, major events and what teams have time to practice, what teams do not. It's a big debate. An artist reckons that, yeah, from what he's played over the last few years, this is the worst that we have had yet. But a relatively clean 2-1 for Na'Vi in the end. As I say, the Breeze was 13-6. That went FNATIC's way on their pick. The Ascent, though, was 13-8 the other way around after a hot start from Na'Vi. We saw the Clutch and Boaster, but didn't get them very far. And then Binds. I mean, this was super ugly. 13-3, completely slammed out of the park. Angel just doing it all. The Cypher, like, it was quite something to witness, really. And Boaster ends the series 17-38. I mean, the game one, he literally had one frag. I mean, that wasn't a joke. So, and they still won, so fair enough. And for some reason, like, we've said this before, and it continues to be true, that, like, FNATIC genuinely play their best stuff when Boaster is not getting killed. I don't exactly know what it is, but, like, when they're literally playing 4v5, they are actually better than when they play 5v5. I don't understand why, but, yeah, FNATIC do survive. They got lucky that Vitality lost to KOI. I wouldn't have expected this. I thought the Vitality were going to win, but this is what I said, right? These EMEA teams and these groups are so difficult to call or predict right now, and KOI and Giant X, after looking pretty shambolic now for a little while. They come through and they take the dub. Sure, they lost the breeze to Vitality, but the Icebox in the end was 13-4. They absolutely crushed him. So KOI take down Vitality, a team that looked promising but now is kind of all over the place, and they bottled it themselves. So FNATIC actually made it through because Vitality at 3-3, that ain't going to be enough for them because FNATIC have a better map count and a better rounds count than they do Liquid. They're 2-3. They play their final game against Gentlemates, a game they should win. The issue is, even if they win that series 13-0, 13-0, they gain 2 map wins, 0 map losses, and they gain 26 rounds. The problem is FNATIC is 27 rounds on round differential ahead of Liquid. So it's not possible for Liquid to overtake FNATIC, and therefore FNATIC will be in the playoffs. But yeah, it's not been ideal for any of those parties. And Gentlemates, if they were to win, then, you know, I guess they would kind of keep their situation alive. But also on the Americas, right, because those games begin again this evening, and we'll see what happens over the coming days. Would have been interesting the way the schedulers worked out here, because if there was a world in which the Sentinels FURIA game was like the last game of the stage, and then we got the results that Sentinels needed from NRG and from G2, then, you know, from Cloud9 and stuff like this, then maybe there would have been a world in which that could have been the final deciding series. But I think it probably works out better this way when we have this game first, which is this evening, Sentinels versus FURIA, right? So there's 5 games to go in the Americas. The current standings are like this. Sentinels are rock bottom of Group A, but they're obviously not far behind, and if they move to 3-3, they don't have a bad rounds differential. It's not great, but it is overhaulable against G2 and against NRG. The difficulty, of course, that Sen have is that even before EG won the other day, they couldn't rely on the 2-win rule bailing them out here, because in order for every team below EG, and including EG, to be stuck on 1, the teams they needed to lose would have won. But Sentinels still have a chance. They need, though, to crush FURIA this evening. That's the way it works. They need NRG to get 2-0'd tomorrow. They need G2 to get 2-0'd by Loud. And effectively, they need G2 to get crushed, right? Because Sentinels have to finish above both G2 and NRG. So for that to happen, NRG to lose, sure, but G2 have a plus 34 rounds differential. Sentinels have a plus 9. So that's a big kind of, you know, mountain to climb. But it starts this evening, because if Sen can come out here and they can beat FURIA very comfortably, you know, 13-3, 13-4, something like that, they can build up a nice round advantage where potentially Loud can come off and finish the job for them over the coming days. But of course, 100 Thieves and of course NRG also have to play their part. So very much interested your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care, and I'll see you next time.